So today I'm planning on doing heavy supersets or heavy circuits, which involve the sled and the kettlebell mainly. But there's also been some things that I've been kind of brainstorming as to how to replicate certain strongman lifts in the gym without the equipment. In this case, I've wanted to do something like stone lifting or atlas stone lifting, but there's nothing in the gym that quite replicates it. And so I think I figured out a way that I can somewhat mimic it. So a couple of videos ago, I had done these plate carries, but with plate carries, uh, the bottom plate has to at least be the size of the plates above it or greater. So the problem lies with, I guess, uh, mimicking the shape of the stone while being able to lift it, uh, like using plates to mimic the shape of a stone, and at the same time being able to do things like get under the plates when it's on the floor and things like that. So I think I figured out a way, but that's what's gonna come up later. For right now, I'm doing backward sled drag and forward sled push with the sled. This is my sixth set, and I've been progressively going heavier as the set goes on, as the sets go on, and I'm supersetting it with 10 kettlebell swings with the 28 kg, 62 pound kettlebell. Before this, I did 30 minutes on the treadmill, a mixture of backwards and forwards to warm up, and pretty much since then it's been the sled. But yeah, today's workout is mostly going to be these sled and kettlebell circuits, plus an attempt to brainstorm and create or mimic stone lifting. So I ended up doing 8 sets of the previous circuit, or superset, whatever. So for the second set of exercises, doing single arm sled rows one way, and then I'm going to push the sled back using the handle at the bottom. It changes the movement quite a bit and makes it a lot more difficult. This is my third set of the movement. So looks like this. So the reason for doing this kind of a workout today is that, well, yesterday was mobility, and so I got to pretty much rest my body from heavy loads and also like high intensity training. And so today felt like a good day to explore this kind of a workout and really get my heart rate racing, do these full body, quote unquote functional, so to speak, movements. And yeah, kind of push the boundaries with that a little. And then with the kettlebell, doing 5 tactical cleans each side. Gonna superset these 2 for a bit, and then on to something less. This was my 3rd set. Probably gonna do 2 more. Yeah. So earlier I had mentioned that I was going to try and do stone lifting. So a couple of videos ago I did plate carries where I had plates stacked and it was on a higher surface. I kind of managed to get my hands underneath it and carry it from one end of the turf to the other. Stone lifting is, apparently it's some sort of ancient strength training thing that people used to do where they just lifted different stones that they could find. And because of the awkwardness of the dimensions and stuff, it forced the body to adapt and get stronger all throughout. I'm trying to mimic stone lifting with plates and the rope grip. So the single hand rope grip has a base which most people place their hands on while doing tricep extensions. So I'm using that to prevent the plates from falling and to allow my hands to get underneath them. I'm also using the dip belt's chain to kind of keep the plates together and also prevent the rope from falling through when I lift the plates. So I have 3 plates on here for 135, and I'm going to go for 5 lifts. So I'm sitting down as low as I can go, get my hands underneath the plates, and bring it to waist level, sit, lean back, and go back down. Gonna go for 5 reps. And then I'm gonna superset that with, I need a sec. That one really takes the wind out of the sails. Anyway, supersetting that with snatches. Three each side. Yeah. So gonna do 5 sets of that. Improvised stone lifting, and then on to something else. here's an angle of what it looks like from the side. I thought it'd be helpful to see what it looks like. And then onto the snatches. But yeah, hopefully the side angle makes things a little clearer. Alright, I'm pretty spent after all that. The sled really kicked my butt, and the stone lifting bit wasn't easy either. Sitting all the way down and getting up like from that deep of a squat gets me lightheaded for whatever reason. But also just in general, that movement is a much more taxing movement than, I guess, any kind of deadlift or whatever. I don't know. Or maybe it's just because the movement is new to me and my body hasn't adapted to it yet. So whatever the case, the previous 3 supersets have taken a lot out of me, and now moving into some abs. So for abs, I'm going to do paused windshield wipers, not supersetting it with anything. So gonna get toes to bar, stick my legs out, go to one side, hold for a second, come up, other side, hold for a second. Doing those paused definitely taxes the obliques and abs a lot more than like just swinging around. So that's how mostly windshield wipers are done, where you just kind of swing from side to side. But by adding that pause, it really stretches out the obliques and takes a lot out of your abs. It's kind of an advanced movement, so definitely be cautious. In any case, I'm gonna do 3 to 4 sets of this. So for the final exercise, I'm gonna combine the outro and the final exercise. But anyway, let's do the final exercise first. So I'm doing this. So I don't know. Most people these days are aware of what an ATG split squat is. An ATG split squat is where you keep one leg ahead of the other, going to lean into the front leg, kind of straighten out, stretching out the hip flexor, and getting a quad contraction. But for this, so that's a primarily leg movement. On a smooth floor, if you have napkins, so I'm just using 2 tissues. Also, you can use your socks. But what happens is you can slide your feet around. Essentially, that's what you're trying to accomplish. You get on the ground, push one leg back, sit into the stretch, and once you feel like you've stretched it enough, come back down, go, and switch. So this ends up becoming a little bit of a hip flexor stretch and lower ab exercise. The act of bringing the leg back up is a hip flexor and lower ab contraction, and the act of stretching it is a hip flexor stretch. Going for 5 each side. But yeah, gonna do that for 5 sets. But I'll do or maybe 3. But I'll do my outro as I'm doing it. Oh, lightheaded. So yeah, yesterday I had done mobility, and and although I went on a run, a 3-mile run isn't that taxing along with mobility to take a lot out of me. So I guess the systems that deal with so the kind of fatigue that you usually feel, like let's say you have a heavy squat day or something, is much different than if you just had so let's say you're doing an arm workout. An arm workout can make you tired, but the kind of fatigue that you feel the next day is a lot different than if you had a heavy leg session. Like, you might be able to spend lesser time at the gym doing legs, maybe even do a 5 sets of 3 workout or something. But since you lifted heavy weight, the amount of fatigue that you feel the next day is going to be a lot different than if you had a high volume arm workout. So since yesterday was mobility, that heavy fatigue kind of got a chance to recover. So yesterday wasn't heavy at all. So today I was kind of able to push, or I felt like I had the reserves to push heavy weight and do these heavy full body movements, and which is why I picked doing the kind of exercise I did today. I also didn't go on a run earlier today, and I like having some sort of cardiovascular element in my workouts. So ended up doing these sled circuits, which really gets the heart rate going. Did the stone lift. So stone lift, kind of, I don't know, it's a very different kind of lift than, I guess, lifting a barbell up. Since the weight distribution is a lot different, you have to get a lot deeper to get it off the floor, etc., etc., etc. So definitely an interesting movement that I'm going to try and throw in more often, and see what kind of strength that gives me. It kind of mimics, or at least the movement pattern kind of mimics, I've been seeing a lot of people lift heavy sandbags, and these stone lifts kind of seem to mimic that kind of movement pattern pretty well. So I don't know, there might be, if people are looking into doing, I guess, sandbag training but don't have a sandbag yet, this might be some a good intermediary to try and get that sort of movement pattern in before getting a sandbag. And then doing abs at the end. my mind is all scattered. But yeah, doing abs and stuff at the end to kind of, I guess, just get some additional work in before I head into the sauna. Like, I felt like I had enough left in the tank to do some more, but not anything really heavy. Plus, I'm a huge believer in direct work on the abs for having a good looking and strong abdominal area. So, yeah, I'm pretty tired. This workout was more brutal than I thought it would be. But yeah, um, yeah, I think that's it for today's video. Did an posing and stuff yesterday, so I'm not going to do it today. I'm going to sit in sauna after 2 more sets of this, maybe 1 more set of this, depending on how I feel. And then head home. Yeah, this was a pretty awkward outro. I feel like my mind's all scattered and I'm kind of mumbling. But hopefully whatever I said made sense. So yeah, that's all for today's video. See you all tomorrow.